Hey everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. I actually am getting to play in a challenge. I'm so excited to do a challenge. I think I've done like 2 or 3 others, and this one was a video challenge from Neat and Tangled. So I was like, what? I cannot turn that down. So here I have some Gansai Tambi watercolors, which have to be one of my favorites. They're so pigmented and rich, just so much fun. And I am going to be, the main stamp set that I'm going to use for this challenge is going to be Paint Night, but I'm going to use some other pieces from different ones. So let's get started. I have the watercolor paper out here, Kanzen XL, on a wooden block, and I'm just going to add the paper, and then I'm going to manipulate the angles so that I can get it to kind of drip down. I wanted to go totally bold on these cards because it's called Paint Night, and you just got to go crazy with the paint. And so that was what my motivation was. And so on the left-hand side, I'm going to make sort of like a rainbow all over the card. And the actual box for these watercolors comes with a chart where you can actually swap out the colors, which I find extremely useful. So that's how I know which color exactly I want to go to, because of course when you look at it in there in its palette, it doesn't really do it justice. So, this is the first layer, and the first layer I dry back, and of course it gets a little bit lighter, and that's okay because we're going to go in with the second one. Both are rainbow themed, but this time I just decided to just hit it with the mister and let the water just drip down. I've done this technique before, but never with watercolors. I've done it with distress oxides, so I thought this was a lot of fun to try and see what the look I could get with this way. On the left hand side, I'm going back and I'm just using those same exact colors, and I'm trying to mix them a little bit because when you mix the water in, you can get a much nicer blend, but my paper started warping up, and so with warping it kind of wanted to do its own thing, and so it was kind of dripping into each other. So I tried to combat that as much as I could, kind of put my finger down to flatten it. But I think if I taped it down a little better, it might have worked, but whatever. It worked out. I like the way it looked in the end, and so we're moving on to the stamping. So I'm going to stamp out these wonderful images here. I have a little girl holding an easel, an actual easel by itself, and then a little girl with the paintbrush. So I'm going to put some clear embossing powder over that so that I can get my little canals I like to work within. And I'm going to pull out my Arteza Real Brush pens. So if you've been watching me lately, you know that this is my go-to medium, although I am trying to play with other things as well. I just find it they're fun and they're easy to use. Note that I am using Bristol Smooth cardstock. I find that to be the best way for me to get a soft and easy blend with these markers. These Arteza ones are comparable to the Zigs in quality, but not in price. They're much cheaper, much less expensive, I should say, than Zigs. But I have both, and I love both. And in fact, I have such a wide palette of colors that I pull out both when I need to. Okay, so you can see I'm coloring her. She's got beautiful dark brown hair, and it almost looks a little bit auburn in certain lights. And I'm getting her skin tone colored up as well. For each of the parts of the coloring that I do, I usually only use 1, 2 max colors, usually. I could get a really good shading and shadow with 1 color if I wanted to, because I just pull that out with the water brush and it lightens it up automatically. On her paintbrush, I thought it would be fun to make a rainbow on the paintbrush, as she's been dipping in all the colors. Side note, have you all ever been to a paint night? I have. I went to one. I thought it was absolutely fun. It was no, I've been to 2. Sorry, I've been to 2. I thought it was fun to hang with my friends, and some of them you can bring wine to. They have cheese. Depends on where you go, but they are so much fun to do. Okay, in case you wondered what color my hair was, there you go. You got a shot of it. I did darken it. You can't really tell it from that shot, but I did. I darkened it a little bit, and my hair almost has an auburn tint to it. I took a picture the other day and I was outside, and boy, let me tell you what the natural light of the sun does to your hair in pictures, because it looked like really red, but I don't think it's that red. Anyway, I've never had this color before, and I'm totally digging it. So back to the card here, I have stamped out a present from the stamp set Go Wild with all the cute little zoo animals, and I stamped Have a Colorful Day in the other easel. So I'm pulling in a few different stamp sets from Neat and Tangled. I'm going to spritz those down with some shimmer spritz because I want them to sparkle, and then I'm going to do some die cutting to get these shapes down. I pulled out a Lawn Fawn, what is this called? This is a cloud border die, and I'm going to cut that and then cut it down into a rectangle. Alright, so let's get to our sentiments. So I went to the Celebrate You stamp set from Neat and Tangled, and I am going to put a massive amount of layers in silver embossing powder on here because I did this technique recently with another Neat and Tangled set called You're Pretty, but I wanted to do it with this one, and I just went over it like, I want to say 4 times. Well, the final time I used some glitter embossing powder, which gave a little bit of a pop. But the reason I did it so many times was because I wanted to almost have my sentiment pop up off the page like an embellishment. So if you do, the more you do it, the thicker it's going to become. Now it's really hard to do this with a very thin sentiment because it's gonna, you're kind of gonna melt. How should I say? It might melt out the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the clarity. You know, like detail. It's the word detail. It might mask out the detail, but this is a nice big bold stamp, so you can do it with that. I'm going to put some fun foam on the back of this just to kind of combat some of that warping. And I'm going to pop her up on some fun foam as well, and that's going to give that card just a little bit of dimension. Please forgive my head again, because here it comes. But I am going to kind of inlay die cut, if you will, the top portion, and then the bottom I cut out from some blue shimmer paper, and that's going to just kind of be a remnant of like a cloud look. You know, just break up the scene a little bit. And so there she is, and she is painting. And the last thing I'm going to do for this card is I'm going to add a ton of Neat and Tangled's clear sequins. And I think that that just brings that card together and adds a little bit of spunk to it. So thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for crafting with me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Again, I had so much fun playing in this challenge. And we'll link everything I used in the description box below. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss anything from me. And you can find me on other forums like Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. And we'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.